Did you know that one of the most legendary towns of the Old West was never supposed to exist at all? In 1877, a prospector named Ed Schieffelin wandered the wilds of southeastern Arizona. He was warned by soldiers at nearby Fort Huachuca that all he'd find out there was his own tombstone. Apaches controlled the mountains, outlaws drifted across the border from Mexico, and the land itself was unforgiving. But Schieffelin struck silver, rich veins of it, glittering in the desert sun. And so, with a twist of irony that history never forgot, the mining camp that sprang up around his discovery took the name Tombstone, a name born from a joke, a name that would soon echo through history. The silver strike unleashed a frenzy. Within a year, the empty desert basin erupted with tents, shacks, and saloons. By 1880, Tombstone wasn't just a camp. It was a full-fledged boomtown. Fortune seekers swarmed from all directions, prospectors with dust in their eyes and hope in their pockets, merchants who smelled opportunity as keenly as miners smelled ore, gamblers, saloon keepers, and gunmen, all chasing the dream. Streets filled with wagons. Hammer blows rang from blacksmith shops. The dust mixed with the smell of whiskey and gunpowder. Tombstone had gone from nothing to a city of 7,000 souls in barely 3 years. And at its heart, silver, tons of it, pouring from the mines beneath the nearby hills. Rich strikes like the Tough Nut Mine, the Lucky Cuss, and the Grand Central promised fortunes beyond imagination. Investors back east bought stock by the thousands. Money poured in. But Tombstone wasn't just a mining camp. It became a kingdom of excess. Theaters like the Schieffelin Hall and the Birdcage Theater rose from the dust. The Birdcage earning a reputation as one of the wildest, bawdiest dens of sin in the West. Its gambling tables never closed. Its bar echoed with laughter, curses, and the crash of glasses 24 hours a day. Imported champagne flowed. Top-hat gentlemen sat across from dusty cowhands, their fates decided by a deck of cards. Brothels lined the streets, their painted women leaning from balconies, calling down to miners drunk on silver dreams. And above it all rose the mining companies, their shafts plunging deep, their hoists clanking day and night. Tombstone was wealth, danger, and decadence packed into a few dusty blocks. But every boom carries a shadow, and tombstones grew darker by the day. The mines demanded cheap labor. Violence simmered between Mexican and Chinese workers and the Anglo miners who saw them as rivals. Smuggling across the Mexican border became big business. Cattle, contraband, and stolen goods moving freely across the desert. And then came the cowboys, not the romantic cattlemen of later myth, but bands of rustlers and outlaws who lived by theft and gun. They rode with revolvers on their hips and rifles in their saddles, defying law and order. Tombstone was split between two worlds: the business elite, bankers, mine owners, and city officials who wanted to bring civilization to their silver city, and the cowboys, wild, armed, and dangerous, who thrived in chaos. Into this storm walked lawmen and legends: Wyatt Earp, Virgil Earp, Morgan Earp, and their ally, the dentist-turned-gunfighter Doc Holliday. They came not just to mine or gamble, but to impose order. Yet order in Tombstone was a fragile thing, balanced on the edge of a knife. The boom rolled on. By 1881, Tombstone rivaled San Francisco in wealth per capita. Silver shipments worth millions rattled downstage roads under heavy guard. Merchants grew rich. Politicians grew powerful. And gamblers bet fortunes on a single turn of the wheel. But underground, trouble was brewing. The water table lay deep beneath the mines, and as shafts plunged lower, seepage began. Pumps were installed, massive Cornish engines, the pride of industrial Britain, groaning machines that fought to hold the mines dry. But the deeper miners went, the stronger the floods became. And then, the silver market wavered. The global price slipped. Investors grew nervous. The great engines strained against floods of water, but the mines grew harder, costlier to work. The dream was cracking, and through those cracks, violence spilled. The cowboys clashed with the Earps in street fights, ambushes, and brawls. Merchants aligned with one side or the other. Newspapers, the Epitaph and the Nugget, hurled insults like bullets in flaming tempers. The town teetered between wealth and ruin, between law and lawlessness. And in October of 1881, all those tensions exploded in a vacant lot beside the OK Corral. 30 seconds of gunfire, 3 men dead, a legend born. But that is a story for another time. For Tombstone itself, the glory faded fast. By 1886, the great pumps could no longer keep the mines dry. Floodwaters rose, swallowing the silver veins. Investors pulled out, miners packed up, saloons shuttered. Once rich men vanished, leaving debts and dust behind. The boom was over. The town too tough to die had been broken, not by gunfire, but by water and economics. And yet Tombstone lived on. Not as the silver city its founders dreamed of, but as a legend. A symbol of the boom and bust cycle of the American West. A place where ambition built an empire overnight, and where greed, violence, and bad luck brought it all crashing down. Stand in Tombstone today, and the wooden boardwalks still creak, the saloons still beckon, the birdcage still whispers of songs and gunshots. The desert wind still rattles the old timbers of the mines. It is a town that refuses to die. Because Tombstone is more than a place, it is a reflection of America's restless spirit, a warning of the cost of unchecked ambition, and a reminder that history is never just golden glory. It is also blood, sweat, and the silence that follows when the boom is gone. But Tombstone's story was not finished. Even as its mines drowned and its fortunes crumbled, the gunsmoke from that October afternoon in 1881 drifted into legend. The OK Corral on the clash of Earps and Cowboys would carry Tombstone's name across the world. And in that moment, history found a stage. If this story stirred something in you, don't forget to like and subscribe, because next time we'll walk into the dust, the tension, and the gunfire of the gunfight at the OK Corral, one of the most infamous moments in the history of the Wild West. This is Chronicle Vault, where history's legends live on.